Hello and welcome to another Meet the Profit First Professional in the UK. And this time I am pleased to be with Deb Halliday. So Deb, welcome along. And would you like to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi Tim. I'm Deb. Bit about me. I am the founder, the owner of the Accounts Ladies. We have a team of 6 on our team. We're all remote. We're bookkeepers, accountants, and business financial coaches.
Fantastic. Thanks, Deb. And how long has the Accounts Ladies been been going for?
I started my practice in 2008, and like a lot of people, I did it around the kids. I'd spent a number of previous years in accounts. So I kind of started my career, if you like, in retail. So I ran retail branches, and then I decided to leave retail, went into business. I didn't want to work weekends anymore. I wanted to learn a bit about business and business to business customers rather than business to retail customers, if you like.
Yeah.
So I jumped ship and I worked, ran a service desk for a vending machine company, reception. I was doing a few days in the accounts department. So I was doing a bit of everything really, because they realised I could grown quite a lot of skills in the retail industry. And then I developed into sales, and ultimately ended up running a team of business development managers for a management training company and IT software training company in the City of London. So I did that, and then I went on maternity leave. I had my son in 2003, and my daughter arrived shortly afterwards in 2004. So I realised that probably going back to work in London and having 12-hour days and having to take clients out for dinner and all the social aspects that came with mandatory part of my job wasn't really going to be very family friendly. So I wanted to stay at home with the children. So my partner at the time, children's father, he ran a construction business, a roofing business, and he collared me to do his accounts and admin, because I'd been working in the accounts department, as I mentioned before. So I started to do that, and then he told all his work colleagues and his mates down the pub, if you like, that Deb's doing my accounts. So they all asked me, could I do the tax returns? And if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go and do it properly. So I went to college, went to night school, qualified, got my practice license with the IAB, which is the Institute of Bookkeepers and Accountants, or Accountants and Bookkeepers, IAB. You can edit that, Tim.
I think we're fine.
The Institute of Accountants and Bookkeepers. And then, it just grew. So it worked really, really well, because I could get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and work if I wanted to around the children. And it grew and grew. That was in 2008. And in 2018, I wound the business right down, because I had to homeschool my daughter. So, and then COVID happened anyway. So I homeschooled my daughter through her GCSEs, and then a couple of years later, in 2021, decided to build it back up again. But I realised that if I was going to build it back up again, I really needed to do it differently, and I couldn't cap my earnings by only charging hourly rate, because there's only 8 hours in the day, and I needed to earn more money than I was able to just doing this part-time as a secondary income. As I'd become a single mum, but we went through a split, and I moved house, so I then had the mortgage and everything else on top. So I started reading books, entrepreneur books, like a lot of people do. So I found E-Myth Revisited, I found the Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster, I found Who Not How, I read them all, and I found Mike's book, Profit First, and I thought, actually, this is just what I've been looking for. I'd be able to build my business with me not doing the work as such, and employing other people or having subcontractors, building a team to do the work to help me. But the Profit First book allowed me to ensure that it was profitable and that I could cover costs, and that I could have enough for growing a team, and I could have enough for operating expenses. Enough was put aside for tax, and it was great. So I implemented it straight away. And once I implemented it, I realised that actually this is just, all my clients would benefit from this. So a lot of the clients that we had were small business, family-run businesses, and they all have their finances, business finances, one bank account. They might have like a savings account where they might put a bit of tax if you're lucky, but now they do. But yeah, so it was a bit like I explained to my clients, if you had a family of 5, would you put all your clothes in one wardrobe? No, you wouldn't. You have to separate out all your finances, so that you know what you've got, and you know what you can spend, and you know what you can take out for your own living allowance. So that's when I contacted you, Tim. I looked online, found the Profit First website, and reached out to you, booked an appointment to see what it would take to become a Profit First professional, so that I could actually ensure that my clients benefited from this cash management system. So we now offer it. We did that in 2022 in April. Yeah. So now the majority of our clients, I would say, there's still a little bit of summer resistance, but they're kind of old school. But yeah, the majority of our clients are running Profit First in one form or another, whether they're having business coaching or whether they're just managing their money within pots and not having the full-on business coaching with it. Yeah, but it's working really, really well. And I think the most satisfying thing for us as a team is when we take on a new client, we can see the stress in them, and they are, I wouldn't say needy, but they're keen to get this system up and running as quickly as possible, because they really don't understand their figures at all. And it's a few months down the line that you have the bookkeeper for that particular client say, so-and-so's he seems so much more relaxed. He's not constantly on the phone. He's not, wanting, he doesn't sound fraught. And we know that that's because Profit First working for him. And then the business coach will say, well, that's great, because, we've been doing this, and this, like budgets, forecasts, and putting money in the pots, and he's been able to take out his profit this quarter, and it works. So it's the feedback that we get through the team as well as through the client that we know that it's working. So that's really nice.
Thanks, Deb. Yeah, that was an amazing kind of whistle-stop tour from 2003 to 2023. Then, so when you see a client and their whole demeanor changes, and like you say, the stress is removed from them by using Profit First in the right way. But of course, they're getting the right information from you and your team, and they're getting the right coaching from your team. Therefore, they're getting the added benefits of working with a certified Profit First professional, which of course is completely different to when you've just read the book and you're just using the book as a textbook, because as we know, that's not the case. It's not, you can do so much from a book, but you can't do as much as you would when you get the support of people that are experts in Profit First and the strategies. So it's just great to hear.
Monitoring. Yeah, we found it's the monitoring of the figures. I mean, you can do the initial assessment, but a lot of the businesses aren't going to be the same 6 months down the line. So it's a constant system that you have to be tweaking. You have to be tweaking your numbers and know your numbers. And to have the expertise, to have somebody that, you see their shoulders physically relax when they know somebody else is taking on that for them, because they've got everything else to do in their business. They've generally got the marketing, the customers, the doing of the work. But to know that they've actually handed that over to a professional, and they can look at the numbers and monitor the numbers, and they will get a call if they can see that these figures aren't going to work and the allocations aren't going to work because of maybe an additional spend somewhere. Then we're part of the team, or their team, and it's great to see them just that's removed. The stress has gone down in their shoulders.
What's the sort of questions that they're asking in their stress state? So when perhaps someone first comes along, and they're in that stressful situation, and they're a demanding client because of that. But what you're saying is profit first scenario, and working with your team is removing that stress. What are they like when they first come? If they're what's the sort of
usually, as I say, they've got all their money in one bank.
Yeah.
They in some instances they've tried to move the percentages across, but they're not confident in knowing that the percentages are working for them because they're not confident that they've done the initial assessment correctly. They don't know if they can take any money out of the business.
Yeah.
They don't know what tax they've got coming up. They don't know what VAT bill they've got. All their PAYE bill is coming up. They don't know. They can see that maybe a van is going to be needing replacing within the next 6 months, but where's the money going to come from? Because they haven't allocated any. And it's that kind of stress that when it comes to payroll time, can they pay themselves? They generally know that they can cover their wages, but how much can they take out? And it's generally their own mortgage or their own lifestyle budget, if you like, that they don't know if they can afford. So yeah, it's they come to us and they want to know, and they want the answers straight away, and they want the answer. Well, can I pay this? Can I do this? How much do I have to put in this pot? Because they want to see the pots growing, and obviously to start with, they might not grow, because it depends on how often they get paid. If they get paid their invoices once a month, then it's going to be a while before they can start allocating, and a month in a business term can be quite a stressful time for the business owners. So, so it's that kind of, it's the clarity that they need, and and then the confidence that the money that they're being told to allocate will cover what they need it to cover. And once they see it working, and at the end of the month, because if you think the pots go down to zero until we start building up an emergency fund.
Yeah.
So they see the pots going down and then they've got to wait for the next invoices or batch of invoices to be paid. So it's that kind of up and down that starts to level out because the system starts to work.
Yeah, they've got a structure, haven't they, on how they manage their cash. I think that's kind of the main point, isn't it? But I want to go back now to maybe not as far back as 2003 again, but so you've just had 2 children in a short space of time, by the signs of it, and you've decided to study. So you've got 2 young children, you're studying, and you wanted an easier life, but you chose to do this. so you're up early doing your studying, etc. And then you've started to work with your then partner's business, and then he's referred you to lots of other people. So you've ended up doing lots of tax returns for people in the construction industry, I believe, mainly, wasn't it?
Yeah, tradies really, sort of like plumbers, bricklayers.
Yeah. And so if you think back to what you were doing for them, and then you think about what you're now doing for your clients, it seems to me like it's a whole total world of difference. Would you say that's fair to say?
Yeah, it's completely different. As I say, a lot of the time it might have been just once a year, coming in January, can you do my tax return? So I was really busy in January.
Yeah.
We started doing some bookkeeping for other firms, and we had a number of bookkeeping clients, but it wasn't on the focus was on the history, as in, this is what you've done the past month, this is what I'm going to put into the books, this is this is going to be your VAT bill based on what you've done. Now everything is future looking, and it's much more personable, finding much more out about our clients, about what they want, where they want to be going, not how the business is, not how the business is, I can't think of the word, Tim.
Performing? It's not reactive anymore, is it? You're being proactive and you're looking ahead. I just wanted to make that point because obviously, you know, we've all been there. Myself, when I ran my own accountancy practice at the beginning, it was just compliance. I was just offering compliance and that's it. And then we think we're offering advisory because we're answering the odd question that the accountants get asked, the usual questions like you've said, you know, can I afford to buy a van? If I do, shall I finance it? Shall I, you know, what way should I do it? Shall I lease it? Shall I buy it? Etc. etc. There's all those conversations, and we answer these questions. And I argue that that's not really advisory. That's just helping your client because they're your client, and that's the answer to the question that they're asking you. Whereas advisory for me is all of these strategies that we can provide for our clients now, using Profit First, but also helping them become more profitable from all the different sort of things that we've learned from working with these clients over the years as well. So I just wanted to highlight that point for you, what a difference it must be when you look back at what you were doing then to what you're doing now.
It's much more satisfying. And another thing that we kind of try and focus on is making sure that they understand a bit more of their numbers, because it's key. It really is key it's the foundation of any business. A lot of business coaches will say sales and marketing are, but actually you can do as much sales and marketing as you like, but if you haven't got profit built into your finances, then you're just going to be on a hamster wheel. You're just going to be chasing that top line all the time, and that's where you get burnout. And we're trying to put our clients on a different path to burnout, clearly, and that's to time freedom, so they can have an exit plan or sell their business or grow the business to a point where they can hand it over to somebody else, whatever they want to do, really. But it's completely different, and it's what I've always kind of wanted to do. I remember a long time ago saying, when people said, what do you do? I said, we want to make clients' businesses profitable. That's what we like to see them succeed. That's what we want to do. But when you're doing the day-to-day, all the compliance stuff, your time's taking up with that compliance. So we use a lot of tech these days, so that it takes, it adds in efficiency, accuracy, reduces human error, and it frees up our time to actually use our skills and our knowledge to help the businesses and business owners, rather than just crunching numbers.
Yeah, and that's providing so much more value to your clients, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, thanks, Deb, for sharing that. And so, obviously, you know, I know you've got lots of clients right now, but if there were people watching this right now, what type of people are the right people for you to be working with moving forward if they wanted to engage in your team services?
We help lots of different types of clients, but it's a lot of it is mindset. So the ones that want to improve, the ones that want to understand, they want to fall back in love with their businesses, if you like. The ones they have to be inclusive, so they include us in their team, if you like, and not just you do that and there's no communication. We're much more consultative. We want to be understanding where you want your business to be heading. We want them to be willing to learn a bit and have a bit more understanding of their figures, and again, not just pass it to the accountant so they don't have to deal with it, because it's difficult to help somebody if they don't understand the importance of the numbers and where the numbers are actually coming from. So there's a little bit of coaching that we like to do within that to make sure that and with the understanding of the numbers, then it gives them clarity and confidence. So it removes that worry, that stress in their own mind, if they understand things a bit better. So that type of client, we work with new business. We work with we've got quite a few psychologists, HR and training companies. So people that have come out of maybe corporate positions and doing freelancing or outsourcing to friends, colleagues, or other firms. Ones that are collaborative, ones that have humans' well-being at the forefront of what they want to do. I think that works well, because that's what we enjoy about our work. So yeah, people that have got that kind of focus, and that they want their teams to do well as well. Their staff members, they look after their staff members. That's the kind of clients that we look to work for or work with.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Deb. And so if anybody wanted to contact you, what would the best way be for them to do that?
They can contact us via email, or they can contact us on LinkedIn. We're on LinkedIn and Facebook, and our website, really.
Yeah, and they just search for the Accounts Ladies?
The Accounts Ladies, yeah. We'll come up.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks, Deb. I mean, from my point of view personally, you were one of the first ones to join us, because like you said, we took over the license the 1st of March 2022, and you joined in April 2022. So you're one of the first few that joined us, and it's been an absolute pleasure working with you, and I really enjoy our calls that we have as well. So thank you so much for being one of our valued Profit First professionals. We value your input to the community and our group calls as well. So for anyone, look no further, look for Deb on the Accounts Ladies, and you can take it from there with her. Thanks very much, Deb.